Good evening, friends. I am your host, KK Gupta. I am a director in Research in India. You must be aware that Research in India is an investment banker, and we are also registered with SEBI as a merchant bankers. We are providing all sort of services, including conducting the technical economic viability study. So we are in panel more all with almost all the bank in India, and all commercial banks by reports are acceptable to them. And we are also doing restructuring work of these stress assets also, and we are preparing the resolution plan. Beside that, we are also going at advisory, government advisory services, and all IVC, other sector we are also doing all business. We are more than 150 staff with me. So most of the our reports are being accepted by the banks. I'm really delighted to see there is registration of 1,500 more than that, and participant is going up. About 400 participants already joined this webinars. And this webinar is very important in these days because we have conducted about 53rd, I think this is our 54 webinars under a series. And beside that, when we have conducted webinar for the SOCM or CIE or PhD chambers, so we are stressing that the industry is going to be a very problem because GDP growth is going to be negative. So when we are talking about GDP, so you will find that 2020, so GDP growth was last final quarter, it was 3.1. That means for this year, it is expected that it will be go negative. So beside that, we are talking about the fiscal deficits. So it has gone up to, you can say, 4.5% of GDP, it has already touched. So you can understand why this COVID, why the corona deficits, economy is a problem. Besides that, you find that government, Prime Minister announced 20 lakhs crore rupees package to different sectors. And for SME sector, special package was given. Even the government has given the guarantee to give 100% guarantee if they are up to 3 lakhs crore rupees. And if you find the latest figure, what a disbursement, around 50% of the loan has already been sanctioned up to 7 July. And besides, disbursement is also taking place in a fast phase. Either it is doing by public sector or is going by private sectors. Even NBFC are playing very important role under the factors. So when we are talking about the webinar, in last webinar, we have suggested some way forward, where we have suggested that instead of deferment of the interest and installment, it's 3 year, 3 months, it should be a 6 month period, which I think accepted by the government, and it has been done it. In last webinar, we also talked about the restructuring at a one time. You know that in 2008, there was a problem. The global crisis was there. At that time also, the Reserve Bank of India, consultation with the government, has come out some restructuring package. Now we have also come out restructuring package by 6 August. Government Reserve Bank has come out a one-time restructuring proposals. In one-time restructuring proposal, they have mentioned that on 1st March, the account should be standard and it can be SMA 0. That means up to 30 the default can be there. It means by the end of the February, if the account is okay, then it can be eligible for under the restructuring package. And package is there for 2 years. You can take the benefit under the scheme. You can get the extension of the 2 years. And resolution invocation date, they are mentioning about 31st December at 20. And within 90 days and 180 days, you have to implement the package. That means these are we will going to discuss in a broad manners because we are with us Mr. Sudarshan, who is our associate vice president and also having experience of more than 15 years under the fields. And he is the expert in the restructuring the accounts and he preparing the resolution package. Beside that, he is heading our TV division and also restructuring division. He is the right person to explain you. So I am coming to Mr. Sudarshan. Before I go to our dynamic leader of the CGM, Chief General Manager, of our Canara Bank is also with us. We will also understand from him how the bank will react on the restructuring package. And I think the package announced by the Reserve Bank of India, where the 3 lakhs crore rupees has to be sanctioned to SME sector, I think it is going very, very nicely. And this SME sector, you know, they're playing a very important role. Either you talk about the GDP, or you talk about the employment, or you talk about the export sectors, they are playing important roles. When we find out the economy, except the agriculture growth is positive. When we talk about the industry or we are talk about the service sector, they are going to be negative sectors. So these are the factors which we are going to discuss in detail. I will not take much time. So I am requesting Shri Sudarshan to please highlight the circular of 6th August, Reserve Bank of India regarding one-time restructuring, and what are the highlight of the circulars and what is his thoughts. Now I hand over to Mr. Sudarshan. Please explain to the audience how the circular is helpful to the entrepreneurs and to the banker also, because banker, I feel the NPA level will not go up and they will not have to make a provision anything. Besides that, the borrower is also benefited. They can set right their industry very well and other things. So it can be feasible or viable will be there. So we're coming to details while explaining Mr. Sudarshan, and then we'll come back to Mr. Pramod, who is CGM. Thereafter, we are having with us, Amod is there with us, who is a senior director of the CARE, and he will also, we are going to touch about the CARE rating, how the rating play an important role, because rating is also important aspects to consider the any resolution plan of more than 100 crore rupees. I think that's why we have called him Samod, who is an excellent person. And we are coming back to you after Mr. Sudarshan. Sudarshan ji, I hand over to you. Please, Sudarshan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for providing me an opportunity to discuss this one-time restructuring, which is being issued by RBI as a circular in the form of a circular. So I will share a PPT from where I can explain things in a proper manner. So just be on hold. So I hope the PPT is being it's visible to all.
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes. So this RBI one-time restructuring, it's a scheme which has been the circular which has been issued on 6th of August 2020. As per this RBI circular, the prime question which comes to our mind is it is applicable for whom or what. So it is applicable for all the lenders, all commercial banks, cooperative banks, primary, urban, state and district central, all India financial institutions, and even NBFCs, including HFCs. So these are the category of financial institutions wherein it is applicable. This circular is applicable. So there are some important dates as per the circular. So there's a terminology called reference date, which is 1st of March 2020. There's a terminology called invocation date. Invocation date, it's a date on which the borrower and the lending institution agree to proceed with the resolution plan under the scheme. The invocation date should be on or before 31st December 2020. So this is the date. 31st December is the last date. Before or on 31st December 2020, borrower and the lender should agree to proceed with the resolution plan. So there is a concept of expiry date. So 31st December 2020, if the invocation doesn't happen by this date, then the resolution plan cannot be implemented. 180 days from the invocation date. So this is the 180 days from the invocation date is the date within which a resolution plan need to be implemented. So say if we apply in the month of September, then whatsoever is the date, from that 180 days is the period within which a resolution plan needs to be implemented by the lender. So now 30 days from invocation date. So 30 days from the invocation date, if ICA means intercreditor agreement. So intercreditor agreement is an agreement between the lenders of an entity which need to be in place within 30 days from the invocation date. So if that doesn't happen within 30 days, then resolution plan cannot be implemented and accordingly it is being lapsed. There are some key highlights of the scheme, which what does it says? It says that it enables the lenders for resolution of eligible accounts while continuation of standard classification or upgradation. So this one-time restructuring scheme says that all the eligible accounts whatsoever are there, if the one-time restructuring is being implemented, then there is no downgrading of the account. So in the previous circulars, we have understood that once the restructuring scheme has been implemented, then accounts get downgraded, and based upon some certain conditions, it is upgraded. But in the current one-time restructuring scheme, the accounts are not getting downgraded and it continues to be standard. And moreover, your CRILC or CIBIL, whatsoever is there, that is not, or even credit rating is not being impacted.
Sudarshan, there is one point.
Yes.
The account is NPA.
Yes.
Same account is there. If it is NPA on 1st March.
Yes.
Whether that account is eligible under the scheme?
No, sir. Under the scheme, the circular is very much clear that as on 1st of March 2020, if your account is more than 30 days overdue, it doesn't say about SMA 0, SMA 1 or SMA 2. It is very clear that your account should not be more than 30 days overdue as on 1st March 2020.
Very nice.
To get it eligible under this scheme.
That means all NPA accounts, somebody raised this point that I want to clarify.
And moreover, sir, I would like to clarify, when we are talking about 30 days overdue, the account ought not be 30 days overdue. It says that all the accounts of the entity, whether it is LLP, corporate, or firm, all the accounts of the entity should not be more than 30 days overdue. I'm not talking about one account. It might happen that in a company or in an entity, there are multiple accounts are there with multiple lenders. So all the accounts should be below 30 days overdue.
Of the NBFC, they are
even in case
applying for that.
Yeah, in case of NBFCs also, sir, it applies.
Very nice. Sorry.
Okay. Available only to borrower having stress caused by COVID-19. So this one-time restructuring circular has been formulated to address the stress, whatever being caused by COVID-19 situation. So that's why they have put up a condition that as on 1st of March 2020, the overdue of the account should not be more than 30 days.
Very nice.
It requires lending institutions to have board approved policies for due diligence and eligibility. So this RBI states that every bank should have their own board approved policies for the implementation of resolution plan.
Right.
Apart from whatever reference date and invocation date has been there in place already, and other conditions also. So it is, and moreover, under this circular, it is mandatory to enter into an intercreditor agreement in case of consortium and multiple lending, which also incentivize the lenders of low provisioning if they agree to sign it, the intercreditor agreement. So if suppose there are 5 lending institutions are there, if out of 5 lending institutions are there, so 60% by number and 75% by value, if they get it signed, and whosoever is dissenting to this intercreditor agreement, so dissenting lenders has to create an additional provision, whereas the lenders who sign this intercreditor agreement, they have to create lesser provision.
If the 60% number, they have
Yes.
40% is not agreeing, or 25% of the, you can say, exposure, they are not agreeing,
Yes.
whether the resolution plan can be implemented.
No, for resolution plan implementation, also this 60% by number and 75% by value of condition need to be adhered.
And my point is, who are not agreeing for the these provisions, or you can say resolution plan, whether it is compulsion on them, they will have to do it.
Yes, sir. Once they are part of intercreditor agreement, that is they are bound by it.
Very nice. Okay.
So under this circular, expert committee of RBI to recommend financial parameters, including sector specific benchmarks as notified by RBI to be considered in the resolution plan. So as we are aware of, expert committee has been duly formed after 6th of August 2020, and now expert committee has to come up with some benchmarks which need to be complied with in order to ascertain the viability of the resolution plan. So a 30 days period has been specified, and we do expect that within next fortnight it will be in place, or at least by 30 days it will be in place. Review of RP, that is resolution plan, by expert committee and credit evaluation by credit rating agencies. So whatever resolution plan is going to be implemented, prior to that, it need to be reviewed by expert committee, and credit evaluation need to be done by rating agencies as per the conditions which we are going to discuss in the later period. What is the best thing about this resolution, this one-time restructuring, that in order to find out or ascertain the viability of the resolution plan, if any additional funding need to be infused, then that can also be done with proper justification and substantiation. So it's not a walk-in that in every case it is permissible, but broadly it is being permissible to have an additional funding also with this one-time restructuring resolution plan.
Good.
Next point is post implementation of this resolution plan, an escrow account need to be opened with one of the leading lending institution, so that all disbursements or all payments, whatever need to be carried out post implementation of the resolution plan, that can be controlled accordingly. So basically we do have in mind that who are not at all eligible to have in place under this circular. So there are some exclusions are also there, that MSME having aggregate exposure to lending institution equal to or less than 25 crore. So any MSME whose aggregate exposure to lending institution is equal to or less than 25 crores, they are not eligible under this circular. But there is a separate circular which has already been issued on 6th of August 2020 only. That circular talks about the restructuring of MSME whose exposure, consolidated exposure, is up to 25 crores. So there are two circulars which has been issued on 6th of August 2020, and we've been talking about the circular wherein MSME doesn't have any place, but there's a separate circular for MSME which is not being covered under this presentation. Second point, farm credit. So when we talk about farm credit, it's generally what we understand is loan to farmers. Next, loan to primary agricultural credit societies, farmers service societies, and last size Adivasi multipurpose societies for on-lending to agriculture. Exposure to financial service providers as defined under section 3 subsection 17 of IBC 2016. So what we basically understand is this: broadly NBFCs loan to what we basically understand is loan to NBFCs cannot be get restructured under this RBI circular. Although loans which are being provided by NBFCs can be get restructured under this circular. Exposure to central state government, local authorities, body corporate established by an act of parliament and state legislature. Exposure to HFCs subject to some conditions. So there's a basic condition that if HFCs loans are being rescheduled after 1st of March 2020, then they cannot be the part of this circular. Now, resolution process. So if we talk about what is the eligibility, who can fall under this circular, that account classified as standard and default not exceeding 30 days as on 1st March 2020 with any lending institutions. We are not talking about any particular account over here. It summarizes that all the accounts of a particular entity need not be 30 days, more than 30 days overdue. So if any account is overdue more than 30 days in a particular entity, then this circular doesn't attract. Account should continue to be standard as on invocation date. So whenever there's a common thought process between the lender as well as the borrower to proceed with the resolution plan, then at that point of time, the account ought to be standard. When we talk about standard, means 89th day overdue is permissible. Invocation. Invocation happens when the LI, means lending institutions, and the borrower agree for proceeding with the resolution plan under the scheme. However, in case of multiple lending, which may be multiple banking arrangement or consortium banking arrangement, if 75% by value of outstanding credit facilities, which include your fund-based as well as non-fund-based credit facilities, and 60% by the number, should agree for proceeding with the resolution plan. So intercreditor agreement post invocation, and that need to be in place within 30 days from the invocation date, plays a very important role for the effective implementation of the resolution plan. Lending institutions to sign intercreditor agreement within 30 days of invocation date, minimum 75% by value of outstanding credit facilities and 60% by number to make it a valid. Lenders other than lending institutions permitted to sign the intercreditor agreement but shall be bound by its term. So lenders are recommended to sign the intercreditor agreement. So there must be some other lenders who are not lending institutions, financial institutions. They can also be the part of this intercreditor agreement.
Creditor can be,
Intercreditor,
एक minute.
yes.
Creditor can be part of the agreement. If Sandy creditors are there, they can be part of this agreement.
So lenders are, we have talked about lenders. So creditors are not lenders to the company.
Okay. That you should
So,
clarify the position. The
yeah, so
creditors are not
so,
part
yeah,
of
so
that.
what I
Only
mean to say is
lender.
that lenders other than lending institutions.
Yes. Okay.
So when we talk, so it can be intercorporate loan.
Okay.
Intercreditor agreement to lay down recourse available to disputing signatories and information sharing mechanism. Resolution plan for the accounts having exposure equal to a more than 1500 crores as on invocation date to be vetted by the expert committee set up by the RBI. So now this expert committee has already been formed, and any exposure more than 1500 crores or equal to a 1500 crores as on invocation date need to be vetted separately by the expert committee.
Sudarshan, this is beside the rating agencies.
Yeah, this is beside the rating agency.
Okay.
This is beside this is add-on, sir.
Okay.
The resolution plan for the accounts having exposure more than 100 crores, to have independent credit evaluation by one credit rating agency. So if the exposure as on the invocation date is more than 100 crores, then it need to be independently evaluated by one credit rating agency. So herein, sir, the implementation of resolution plan plays a very important role because it is being highly dependent upon the independent credit evaluation of the credit rating agencies. So they are being very so external rating agencies are playing a very important role in the vetting of the resolution plan. Mechanism for accounts with multiple lending institutions, with one of the lending institutions for routing all receipts, repayments and disbursements. So the basic purpose of this escrow mechanism is to control the inflow and outflow of an entity post implementation of restructuring package. Resolution plan features. Resolution plan can have any action as in paragraph 13 of June 7, 2019 Prudential Framework by RBI. So this resolution plan cannot propose any haircut, compromise, settlement. So whenever we talk about whenever we are going to prepare the resolution plan under this one-time restructuring scheme, it should not cover compromise settlement.
Right. That means OTS is not possible.
Sir,
that means OTS is not possible under the circular.
Yeah, so haircut is not possible.
OTS is possible.
OTS, sir, when we talk about OTS, it's a haircut only which a lender has to take.
Okay. That means it is not possible.
No, sir.
Okay.
May include sanction of additional credit facilities. Lending institutions may allow moratorium and or extension of residual tenure. Aggregate extension should not be exceed 2 years. So this is one of the very important point, that if suppose we do have a term loan, whereas the residual period is somewhere around 5 years, so that term loan can be, the tenure of that loan can get extended up to 7 years. Although we can reschedule the repayment pattern of the principals outstanding as on 1st of March 2020. So as on 1st of March 2020, whatever outstanding is there, we can get it rescheduled as per the cash flow, but the overall tenure of the term loan cannot be more than 7 years. So internal reshuffling is permissible.
That means 2 years from the date of 1st March, you can say, or you?
No, sir. We cannot say. It's not 1st of March. It's a whatever is original tenure is there.
Yes.
So your original tenure, whatever original tenure is there, from that only, because if suppose you have paid in the month of March and you have not paid that in the month of March, so you are talking for a reschedulement from the month of March only. So if it varies from case.
Residual period cannot be extended more than the 2 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. To consider the financial parameters and the sector specific range thereof as notified by RBI.
Right.
Now, another thing is very much important, which can be the part of the resolution plan, that some of the exposures of the portion of the debt, we can get it even converted into equity also, if we see that there is a cash flow mismatch as per the projections, whatever need to be submitted or captured in the resolution plan. So resolution plan may also provide conversion of a portion of debt into equity also, or any other marketable non-convertible debt securities, and which need to be valued as per the guideline which is already being covered under this June 2019 circular. Asset classification. Additional finance to meet internal liquidity to be classified as standard till the implementation of resolution plan. So if there is any additional finance which we have taken from the bank during this period, then that need to be considered as standard till the implementation of resolution plan. Standard classification to be retained, or in case the account slips into NPA between invocation and implementation, then the account to be upgraded to standard on implementation of resolution plan, which adheres to the provision of the scheme. So there might be a situation that upon invocation, if any account slipped into an NPA, then on the date of implementation of resolution plan, the account will be restored to standard accordingly. Post-implementation monitoring period. So a period of 30 days commencing from the date of default by the borrower during the monitoring period with any of the signatories of ICA. So it says that of 30 days commencing from the date of default. So when we talk about review period is a 30 days period from the date of 1 day default. So if there is a 1 day default post implementation of the resolution plan, then that 30 days will be considered as review period, and within that 30 days of review period, we have to rectify the account. If we don't rectify the account within 30 days, then it will turn into an NPA, and that 90 days clause will, 90 days period of NPA will not be attracted over here. So we need to be, yes sir.
It will be classified NPA if it is not within 30 days, the account is not set right, irregularity is not set right. Which date the NPA will be classified?
It will be classified from the day on the previous invocation date.
Invocation. Okay.
Yeah. Monitoring period starting from the date of implementation of resolution plan, letter of 1 year from the date of commencement of repayment or interest, whichever is letter, or the credit facility with longest moratorium period, and number 2 is by when the repayment of at least 10% of the residual debt has happened. Here the residual debt means the restructured debt which is the part of the resolution plan. Consequences of default. In case of default with any signatory to ICA, at the end of review period, account would be classified as NPA with all the LIs from the earlier of the date of implementation of RP or the date of classification of NPA before implementation of the RP. Fresh restructuring on failure of the RP implementation under the scheme can be taken up under prudential framework. So
Yes.
this is also which we,
Sudarshan ji, very nicely you have covered, like one or two issues there.
yes sir.
Someone is asking who can prepare this plan, resolution plan, who can prepare it?
Sir,
Whether
if,
it's a
yeah.
IBC professional people who can prepare it or anybody can prepare that.
Sir, any professional can prepare this resolution plan. There is no such any requisite qualification being required for the preparation of this resolution plan, because whatever resolution plan is need to be prepared, that plan need to be submitted on behalf of the borrower only. Once resolution plan whatever is being submitted on behalf of the borrower, then due diligence, then the lender can even appoint TV consultant
That
to
means
get.
resolution plan, in a short, resolution plan can be prepared anybody, when the company
Yes,
can
yes
prepare
sir,
it.
yes sir,
There is
it
no
can be
point for
prepared by
one
anyone.
person. Okay, it is very nicely covered. Another point is interest.
Hmm.
Whether the interest can be converted into equity or NCD. Somebody asking like that. Whether it is possible to convert it.
So interest can, whatever accrued interest is there, that can be converted into FITL, funded interest term loan, and that can be paid as per the cash flow, but subject to that irregularity.
Point is, Sudarshan, is simple, whether it converted into equity or NCD. It is depend upon your financial position for that.
Yes sir, yes sir,
So
yes
you
sir.
cannot say it can be converted to equity or NCD, because it is converted to FTL, that if cash flow is available, then we have to pay. There is no
Yes sir,
point for converting into equity. That is very clear. I
yes
thank
sir.
you, Sudarshan. I think you
Thank,
have covered very nicely. We are thankful to you. Now I am
thank you
coming
sir.
to Shri Pramod Kumar ji, who is a Chief General Manager of Canara Bank, and he has 35-year long experience with him. So I think I've seen the first banker who from scale 1 to scale 5 up to AGM, he work in a branch. I think I am also a banker, so I have also got a privilege to work in the branches. Lekin I think this is the first gentleman who have seen that work as up to AGM level in a branch, and he has a vast experience. When I was talking to his staff, so he is a very quick in taking a decision and implementation it, and he is not taking a time. So such a very executive in a banking sector, I feel that very rare executive in the banking sector. Sir, I am thankful to you, sir, for our invitation. You have joined here. So, sir, one point is there. You must have seen the circular. So, how you feel that how it is beneficial for the banker as well as borrower, because it is both way. It is beneficial. What I feel it. In your opinion, some amendment is required. When I've seen the statement from the Punjab National Bank CEO, so he was telling about 30 days is a very short period, because up to 89 days, certain party are taking a leverage at the last moment of the time. They are depositing the amount to save the NPA level. So this 30-day default is a very short period. As a banker, because you are a very important position here, you are heading the Maharashtra zone. So what is your view, sir, in this respect? Mr. Pramod ji.
Thank you very much, Guptaji. And I am really thankful to Mr. Kedia, who has nicely prepared the PowerPoint and explained the entire scheme in a nutshell and in a very, very understandable mode. I must congratulate you. And I am also thankful to Resurgent India, who has given me an opportunity to give some help or some tips on this scheme. Uh, First thing we have to understand the very purpose of this scheme. This scheme is going to give a relief to the COVID related stress accounts. COVID related stress accounts
Yes, sir. Yes.
means those accounts who were doing very well prior to this COVID pandemic,
Yes.
they are now suffering because of the lockdown and the subsequently COVID affected. So RBI has decided to support these viable accounts who were otherwise doing well. That's why they have kept a period of 30 days default only. 30 days default, although the period looks like a very small one, but the fact remains all along up to the month of February, these units were doing fine, they were doing well, and all of a sudden, because of the COVID, they have started showing the sign of stress. So this period is correctly given and well thought. I can say it is a well thought scheme by the RBI. Because in up to 89th day or 88th day, people used to pay. There is no problem in that. But that is not for this purpose. That is for the normal accounts when it is becoming, it is giving default for 89 days, 98 that we are classifying as NPA. But since the subject is a COVID related stress account restructuring scheme, so it is 30 days is okay.
30, yeah, for your opinion, 30 days okay,
Yes.
and it should not need to be extended because of bankers also approaching IBA, and I've seen they are also requesting the IBA to approach the Reserve Bank of India. So instead of 30 days, should be increased the period. Making your opinion that is 30 days sufficient. Personal loan under a scheme of restructuring, whether you feel that the economy will be boosted by that for personal loans once they have included under the scheme also.
Sir, just you think any bank, any lending institutions, if you see their credit portfolio, you will find that the retail portfolio of any bank is ranging from 35% to 65%. Rather, each bank is trying their level best to add more in the retail sectors to ensure the risk appetite is spread and the lesser risk in comparison to corporate loans, because in the past the bank have faced this situation when the corporate loans were becoming we are coming under stress. So every bank's endeavor is to boost retail portfolio. Now the problem in COVID is because of COVID lockdown and many issues came in between, people started losing their jobs. Then a lot of salary cut also happened. Lot of salary, even for the government employees, DA is freezed. And these retail loans are normally given to the salaried class or the professional and self-employed people uh, whose source of income has somehow got affected. So by giving this relief, we are sure that, that will be a great relief, because the extension of 2 years time is almost just enough to overcome this issue. So it is a good initiative by the RBI in my opinion.
Sir, another question is that 5VC professional under the scheme, they have any role to play? Which I think I have already covered it. They have no role to play, depend upon the party, whether the professional they want from the professional people or they want to themselves, it can be done by that. Another issue is, sir, for this expert committee, Kamath committee, they will give their recommendation on the financial parameters within 30 days. Now, what do you feel that? What should be financial parameter? Because being a seasonal banker and you are also expert in credit, once I'm talking to you, you're expert in credit. What type of financial should be seen under the restructuring package? You are only extending 2-year period. And what type of financials your bank is required to consider the restructure proposal or professional, you can say, approvals for that?
Normally, at the time of granting the loan, what exactly we are seeing?
Sir.
We are seeing in case of term loan or
Sir.
overall DSCR or DSCR with a benchmark decided by the bank policy.
Right, sir.
Now, this committee, in case of term loan, and in fact, it is very difficult to give any comment on that at present. But with my experience, I can say
Yes, sir.
that in case of term loan, normally we used to check the DSCR, debt services coverage ratio.
Right, sir.
In case of working capital, we used to see the current ratio and many gearing ratios. Uh, since here we are going to deal with the stressed assets, what I feel there will be a relaxation in the threshold
Yes, sir.
benchmark. There should be a relaxation in a benchmark. Suppose in normal case, if DSCR we are asking for 1.5 to 2%, here we may go up to 1.2%, 1. All the statistics sector wise, and they will certainly analyze the sector wise requirement how to overcome this issue, this problem. They will come out with a very liberal ratios. This is my personal understanding,
Natural, sir.
to accommodate maximum number of borrowers under this, to bring under this scheme.
Yes, sir.
Second thing, so far which you have told about the professionals to come into picture for submitting the resolution plans and all these things, uh, there is no bar here. If any company they feel that they need to appoint some resolution professionals for this purpose, it is welcome. The condition is that any resolution plan is to be accepted by both the parties.
Right.
The beauty of this framework is both borrower and the banker have to accept the resolution.
Mhm.
Suppose if any resolution plan where suppose it is more than 100 crores where we need to have external ratings also, and the rating external rating coming is not satisfactory.
Right.
Naturally, bank will refuse to go for resolution.
Right, sir.
So I mean to say that it all depends on the promoter or the individual whether he needs the services of an expert or not.
Very nicely, sir. We are covered. I will come back to you later on. Now I'm coming to Mr. Amod. He is a senior director in care rating, and he has a long experience of 24-year experience, and he is BE from the National Institute of Technology, Nagpur. And he's expert
Guptaji,
in
Guptaji,
infrastructure.
just 1 minute.
I will come back to you, sir.
One
If
minute,
you want
one
to say
minute.
something, sir, you want to say something, sir? Hello? Hello?
Permit, if you permit.
Yes,
Gupta
sir. Yes, sir. You are full right, sir.
Only one thing for the benefit of the audiences.
Sir.
Two, our Kedia Sahab has given a statement that there will two restructuring plan issued on the same 6th of August. One for MSME.
Yes.
So I think many audience may be coming under the second restructuring scheme of RBI, that is MSME.
Right, sir.
So some rules are different from what it was told in this. So there, the resolution can be one-time OTR can be done up to 31st March 2021.
You are right.
And the second thing, the reference date is 31st March. But after 1st March, before invocation date, if it slips to NPA, still we can upgrade and we can go for this. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Some
Thank
difference.
you. Sir,
Thank
I'm coming to Amod because this is important aspect of rating agencies, and he has with the long experience in rating. Just I want to know, sir, what type of financial information you will seeking from the party, and what type of rating will be there? Because when we are going into circular of 7th June, so we find that the RP4 rating must be there. So here in this scheme, they have not implemented anything rating. They have not put any clause for that. And how the rating agencies, like your agencies, how you will rate it the company? Because if the account as on 1st March is a standard, they are having the, you can say, rating of double B. They are not having investment grade rating. Still, they are having the account is not NPA and their standard account. How the rating agency will view that position, sir? That we want for the sake of my entrepreneur, because some entrepreneur are also asking me when their double B rating is there as on 1st March, although their account is standard and there is no default. whether you will insist for the investment grade rating, Professor Amoji.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for this opportunity. I'll straightway come to the issues that you have raised. One, the exposure that is going to be above 100 crore will require a rating from a independent rating agency. The June 19 circular, if the amount was above 100, it required one rating agency, and above 500 crore, it required a rating from two agencies. But here, I think they are clear that it is above 100 crores, and you will require a rating from an independent rating agency. As has been mentioned already, the proposals which are being considered in this are essentially which have got impacted as a result of COVID, and those assets could be standard and investment grade and so on as of 1st of March. Some of the points that you raised, one, the evaluation of this particular rating, it will happen on the RP scale, because in a way this particular circular of August 6 is a sub-circular in a way of a June 19 provision and June 19 scheme. So the scale will be a RP scale where it goes from RP1 to RP7. And what is acceptable to the lenders for the purpose of implementation is RP1 to RP4. The RP4 is a sort of cutoff, and that definition, it reads like this, that facilities with this symbol are considered to be of moderate degree of safety regarding timely servicing of financial obligations. Such debt facilities carry a moderate credit risk. So minimum, this is what you have to have. In terms of the methodology, the basic pillars, they continue to be same. We look at business, we look at finances, we look at management, and we look at the project risk. The main difference when we do this vis-a-vis a conventional rating is here there is a plan which has been put out by a COC or a lender or an expert. So we assess that plan of a turnaround. We try to see if once it is implemented successfully, will it generate enough cash for the purpose of servicing of a debt? And if it is so, then I think the ratings will come across in terms of RP4 and above. I think that's one main thing. In terms of some other differences between the conventional rating and this rating, this rating is going to be one-time exercise. Conventional rating of a loan or a bank instrument or a capital market instrument, it is over the life of the instrument, whereas RP ratings will be one time. Scale, as I said, will be RP1 to RP7. Here, what these ratings indicate is the viability of the unit and viability of the plan. That is what we comment upon. The rating agreement here is signed between us, that is the rating agency, and the lender, and not the issuer, which is otherwise the practice in a conventional rating. Information that we will get generally will come from the lender with a limited recourse possibly to the issuer. In terms of the nature of information that we'll ask, I believe good amount of that will be there in the TEV report, and so also other information that is available from the company side in terms of published reports and so on. So these are some of the points. One or two important points that I would like to sort of mention is this, that all these companies, all these accounts were good before March, and this has essentially happened only as a result of COVID. So as the intensity of COVID comes down, as we have improving situation on an economic side as far as COVID related stress is concerned, good amount of these assets are going to perform and deliver a stable and a robust performance is what we think. Some businesses will be impacted for a longer time, and over there I think the whether that new plan that is being put out that will really help or not is something that we will have to see. But the point that I'm making is this, that vis-a-vis the erstwhile RP ratings which we used to do, and where frankly speaking you will find very less number of cases getting that RP4 and above rating. Here, because this is a topical issue and possibly we'll have a good solution around the COVID problem, the amount or the extent of assets which will come back to normalcy, I think that possibly will be on a higher side. As a result, the percentage of assets which probably will be in a good rating category possibly could be higher is the sense. Of course, nothing is tested as of now. We are still not even started on this. It's an evolving situation, but this is what I think, we think typically we will take 2 to 3 weeks to complete a assignment on this, and that's from my side. So if specific questions, I think, I would love to answer.
The main question is, sir, because in the previous circular, they are stipulated the RP4 should be there. That's why I think very restructuring were done, very small cases are there, because RP4 was very difficult. If you insist for RP4 rating for this restructuring also, it will going to be create a problem. For COVID related stress accounts, you are asking for investment grade. I think that will be a very difficult proposition. So what a rating agency are thinking, that is our point. If you can explain in that way. Or second issue is, if you have done any rating, so whether this resolution professional can run by you only, or it can be another rating agency. Because in last circular, I think something was there. So whether you can also carry out that rating?
Yeah, so rating can be carried out by the agencies which are approved by RBI as far as this thing is concerned. In terms of that,
you have done it. My point is, if you have done already rating a company, and he is approaching you for this rating also, for restructure rating, whether under the rules you can do it.
Yeah, so if you go by the June 19 circular, where they said that if 12 months prior to the asset getting stressed, if that particular borrower had an investment grade rating from a particular agency, that agency cannot be approached, because in a way it is a reflection of performance of that agency, and if that agency didn't deliver, what's the point in going to the same agency again?
Yes, sir.
Here, while there is no clarity, but here, because the stress is coming as a result of an event which was not envisaged by anyone, neither the agency nor the lender nor the corporate, possibly that particular restriction may not be here. We don't have a clarity. It may not be here in this particular. So what I'm saying is this: if we were rating that company earlier, and if it's going to get restructured under this, possibly RBI will permit us on this. So on this, we'll have to sort of seek clarity.
Very nice, very nice. Sir, you can suggest something to our, because there is more than 1,000 people are listening to you.
Yeah.
As a rating agency, what you can suggest to the entrepreneurs or to the bankers, so that this scheme of restructuring one time can be successful? Because it depends upon, I feel, more than 100 crore rupees depend upon the rating agencies. If you are not giving investment grade or something like that as per the Kamath committee report, then it will be very difficult to implement the things. Only point is only 2-year extension period they have allowed.
Yeah.
So what is your suggestion to the entrepreneurs, sir?
So sir, I think I'll answer this in 2 parts. One, frankly speaking, someone should put out a good, viable proposal which is doable, and there are going to be experts who are going to be doing it. If such proposal comes, I think the possibility of those getting good rating, I believe will be good. Beyond that, sir, because of the regulation, I'm not permitted to comment more on this aspect. It boils down to then sort of advisory domain.
I'm sir, within your parameter, I want your suggestion in this aspect. How entrepreneurs should do it? Once you told a viable should be there, a viability should be studied by another person, that they will come to you with a viability study. Now question is, viability is something different. DSCR can be 1.5, it can be 2, or it can be 1 also. Some people can accept 1.25 also. Some people say 1.5.
Yes.
DSCR. There is no parameter for that, no, sir?
Agreed. And good that you raised this point, Guptaji, a very valid point. Now let me come to this specific aspect. Because there are so many parameters that we can discuss and time may not be there, but let me touch upon the aspect of, say, DSCR.
Yes, sir.
And see the level of DSCR that we will look for, it all depends on what sort of a stability do we have around that number. So if I'm going to look at, say, solar power project, where the performance is almost a passive activity, you don't have to do anything. You have sun and you have generation, and payment sort of comes through. Over there, the volatility in earnings is very less. EBITDA volatility is very less. As a result of that, DSCR levels as a result of that, even if the DSCRs are low, the probability that a 1.05 DSCR will suddenly go to say 0.95, that is not there. As a result of that stability in earnings, we will be willing to live with lower DSCR in a NHI annuity project, in a solar power project, in maybe a sort of a wind project. But if you are going to be in a business, say manufacturing of some material where you are exposed to all type of risk, businesses, industry risk, competition, this, that, and prices are volatile. There, I think, we are going to demand much higher DSCR of 1.5, 1.7, 2 times to arrive at the same level of rating, which we will give at 1.05 to an annuity road project. So that's how the logic goes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. One question is there from the audience.
Yes.
Can the rating agency overrule the special committee recommendation and assessment? I think there is no point for overruling anything.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, that committee has exemplary gentlemen on the and I'm sure
there's no point for that. No? Reserve Bank has appointed some committee. Their recommendation has to be followed.
No, having said that, let me battle for my independence. So while we are sure that what they will put out will be very sound and robust and certainly acceptable to all stakeholders. But if we think that something is significant for a particular sector, particular borrower, and if for example they are not matching the number put out by the expert committee, but we think it is okay, then my rating will still come at RP4 or RP3 or whatever. Yeah. Ultimately, whether the lender wants to go with that or not, because say expert committee thing has not been met, that is a discretion of a lender then, sir.
Okay, I agree. Sir, another point is what kind of value addition a rating agency can do it. Once a professional people prepare the plan and is submitted to the bank and he is asking for your opinion, one question is there, what additional value you are added in that?
Sir, we are prohibited by the charter in terms of, trying to do any value addition there in terms of any advice or something. Yes. What we are required to do is a proposal will come from the bank side to us. It comes to us on a table, right. And we are required to take a fair and objective view of that. Right. We are not supposed to be advising for, against, this and that. We are not permitted, sir. I mean, RBI, SEBI, both.
Very nicely, sir, covered, Amoti. I think what a clarification from the participant there. You are explained very nicely. Now I am coming to Pramod, sir. Pramod, sir, one question is coming. Whether the cash credit account can be converted into a term loan?
Under any restructuring plan, if there is a deficit in a stock,
yes, sir.
To that extent, we can convert it into working capital term loan, and unrecovered portion of interest will be converted into FIT.
That I agree. The point is on 1st March, the account is a standard account, all drawing power, other thing is available. Now question is, once they are submitting a resolution plan, party telling mere current assets have been gone. They are not availability of the stocks even. So how a banker will assess at that time whether the stocks, where the stocks has gone? If it converted into a debtor, so whether where debtors has gone. If debtor has been realized, how they can use. All such things, I think as a banker, you will see to it now before converting into WCTL or a FTL or something like that. What is your opinion, sir?
And actually, as per the resolution plan, we will go through in details. Suppose if debtors are unable to pay or there is a shortage of a stock, and in fact, what I visualize under this scheme, there is no that chance, because here all units were quite fine working before the COVID endemic. So the chances of shortage or non-realization of debtors and all these things will be slightly delayed, but not denied. This is quite feeling. But if the resolution plan warrants it, bank is open to it, subject to the compliance of bank's norms and policies adopted by the board.
Sir, when we are seeing the restructuring of the SME sector, the bank had done it. So bank has reassessed the limit, bank has reduced the margin, bank has increased the period of the debtors. Everything has been done by them, although they are lying the drawing powers. So, sir, one last question to you is coming in mind how it is beneficial for the banker and vis-a-vis the borrowers. This scheme, how do you feel that it is beneficial for the bank point of view and borrower point of view? This restructure package.
This restructuring proposal, for this restructuring process and the guidelines, I feel it is win-win for both.
Win-win for both.
Win-win for both.
As
Because
example,
here the extension of repayment tenure by 2 years is giving enough breathing time for the promoter to overcome this problem.
right,
And for bank also, it is good that when the account is not going to slip to NPA, not going to be categorized as NPA, naturally we need not make that much of provision. Of course, provisioning norms is there, but not to the extent we are making provisions for the normal NPA accounts.
very nice.
Now, if in we are not classifying the account as NPA, naturally our capital requirement will be not that much,
Okay,
and the chances of survival of the account gets increased,
very nice.
because if the account is declared as NPA, naturally lot of other issues also comes into the picture. So the debtors stop paying back money, creditors started harping on their payments, and the promoters gets confused what to do, and because there is no source of funds, so good accounts also become bad once account is categorized as NPA. Here the postponement of NPA for next 2 years, because we are sure with 2 years such a long time, these people they were certainly overcome this problem, COVID problem. So it will be
Very nice.
good for
Very
both.
nice, sir. Sir, I think very thankful to you, sir. You have explained very nicely. Sir, a closing remarks from your side. The how you view this scheme as a closing remarks. So,
You are talking about your webinar process or what?
no, no, as a, this restructuring scheme, what you want to convey to our participants who are there more than that? What your feeling about this scheme? But as a closing remarks to the entrepreneurs.
In this, what I feel that is the those who are really affected because of the COVID, they should start making their plan immediately to submit their resolution plan at earliest.
Very
Number one. Number two, from the banker side, only one issue I feel that we should take up it through IBA to RBI
yes.
is this 30 days ICA time is too short.
Oh,
Because bringing 60% by number and 75% by value to a consensus in a banking sector is really a very but challenging one.
right, sir.
So this 30 days time is not enough. ICA signing should be minimum 60 days, and then 180 days I can agree for result submission of result.
They have
But
put
ICA
90
signing
days
30 days
also,
is
personal
too
loan
low.
also,
Too
they
low.
have put
Because
90 days,
my
90
experience
days.
from many meetings when we have gone, lenders are many. It is not only 3, 4, 5. In bigger accounts, 35, 36 lenders are there.
Yes, sir.
So sometimes what happens, bigger lenders, they may come to a consensus, but the small lenders, they are having their own observations, their own stands. So it creates a lot of problem. So 30 days time, I think RBI should think of extending it to 60 days or 90 days, and then 180 days, fine.
So another question for you. I have closed it. Like, this is very important. Somebody raised this issue. Whether this is a bad stigma in the case of the borrower once they go for restructuring. One is, I think this is a very, very important question. When they got a restructuring, so always stigma will be there, because I know once the account is classified under civil or something like that, people they know, yeah, your account was bad sometime or something like that. Even they come out, but it's not a bad stigma on the borrowers for getting the restructuring.
Under this scheme, any restructuring is not going to be any stigma, because their civil is not going to be affected. And this is the situation which is beyond anybody's control.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It is
I agree.
nobody's,
That's why I
it's
want
not
from
in
you, sir.
anybody's hand.
That's
So,
why I want from you, because you say this is not a stigma. Although it is beyond their control, it is a COVID related issue. Stress account is COVID related, nothing
I'll
more
tell
than that.
you,
So
I'll
how
tell
you can say
you,
any stigma or something, there's no point. You come out the scheme, See, the unit should be viable and you pay as you promise it. And what your projection you are taking up, let you should pay as per your real projections. What I feel it. Because bank borrowing you are taken, so you pay honestly and that you can progress in your unit. Thank you very much, sir. So I'm
Thank
coming to Sudarshan. Sudarshan, there is one issue. They are asking a SME account having more than 25 crore rupees can covered under this scheme. Another point is whether this personal loan, people, this all home loan or something, that can also be applied under this scheme.
So any SME account which is more, which do have an aggregate exposure more than 25 crores do cover under this scheme.
Right.
First answer. Second is personal loan. When we talk about personal loan, it means individual loan we be talking about. An individual, when an individual take an home loan, that also covers under this scheme.
Very nice answer. Sudarshan, lastly, you can say something about this restructure scheme.
Sir, as a holistic view, if we talk about this is one of the scheme which has been come up, which has been issued by an RBI, and the due date for applying this scheme is 31st December 2020. So, if any business entity which is being whose cash flow is being has been significantly impacted due to this COVID-19 situation, do need to apply for this one-time restructuring. Do need to apply for this one-time restructuring because it helps them as this one-time restructuring. There is no downgrade of any account. So post 31st December 2020, it might happen that if they want to get it restructured post 31st December 2020, then there would be a downgrade in their account. So if cash flow has been significantly impacted, so they should go for it and need to apply for this one-time restructuring.
I think you have covered that. Sudarshan, you are the pillar of the research in India and doing our restructuring work, including IBC. You are also handling it and doing a technical viability study for all the banker. So, what type of paper you suggest from these people? Because so many people are listening to us and more than 1,500 registration is there. So what type paper you will ask from these people? Let they should prepare it if they want any assistance from the Research in India, because we are also doing all these professional people are with us and we are preparing a planning and we are doing a conducting a technical viability study and we can also help them in rating also. So what type of information as a short you can ask from the borrowers?
So first of all, I would like to submit over here is that this one-time restructuring, whatever has been issued by RBI, it is not being mandated upon any lending institution. So we need to be very cautious while applying for the one-time restructuring with any lenders. So we need to be, there ought to be justification in a very precise note than why we are opting for this one-time restructuring scheme.
Yes.
So therein, sir, we as a researchant or any professionals who've been very much competent enough to do justice with this job can help or can have an hand-holding exercise with the promoter or the borrower to get it executed, the one-time restructuring scheme, in a very time-bound manner, because there is also 180 days timeline is also there, under which this resolution plan need to be implemented accordingly. So therein, sir, as with our expertise, we believe that we do have past credentials also, wherein we have assisted corporates in executing restructuring. So that is the submission which I can have, sir.
Any rebate under the interest can be available under the scheme?
Yes, sir. We can even request for reduction in rate of interest also.
It can be, and moratorium period can be also be extended.
Yeah, moratorium period can also be included as a part of our resolution plan, but that ought to be on the basis of the cash flow of the company.
Very nicely, Sudarshan. We are thankful
Yeah.
to you, and you have very nicely covered it. Now, lastly, I am coming to Amodji. Amodji, for a last closing remarks, you can say something from the rating agencies and how they can approach you and what type of paper they should submit to get the rating expedited.
Yeah, in terms of, I think this is a good relief to the borrowers. I think it takes care of the cash flow related and timing related issues. Uh, uh, I think, you know, from a banking side, as a rating agency, we think again it's a welcome step, because if a moratorium was ended and demand for the repayment would have come through the spate of NPAs that possibly we would have seen in the banking side, that would have been significant, which would have called for capitalization of banks, and we think, you know, right now government is not really in the position to sort of fund the banks to the extent that it would be required. So I think it's a good decision, and a good thing to happen for in a way for everyone. In terms of your other question, I think information primarily that will be required will be the sort of a TEV study, the resolution plan itself, the past balance sheets of the company, and some specific information, you know, that will be dependent on the nature of the company. So those things will be really required. Um, what we promise is a certain timeline within which my agency delivers ratings. That is something that we can promise, provided we have all the information. That is what. So we have been doing RP ratings, RP a significant amount of them in the past under the June 19 circular. That's all that I have to say. But I think it's a good step that has happened. I
Very
think it
nicely,
helps
sir.
all
Very
the
nicely. Whether you
stakeholders.
require a TV study also for that.
I don't know. As a plan, I think as a part of the plan, if the lender and if the company gets it done or something, I really don't know. But if it comes as a data pack, fair enough.
I am really at the last. I am thankful to the Pramodji, CGM, who is very intelligently explained all the things and he replied all the question of the participants. And I'm no word to express my gratitude, sir, to you. I'm thankful to Amodji also,
Thank you.
who has very explained the rating agency's viewpoint and other informations. I think we are no word to express our thanks also to him also.
It's so kind of you.
Lastly, I am thankful to my colleague, Mr. Sudarshan Kedia, who has prepared the presentation very nicely. Thankful to all the participants who have raised some question. I'm sorry if I could not reply all the question raised by them. They can write to us. Even my note down my mobile number is there 9810266503, and my you can say mail to Research in India. Any question left they can send to us, so we will reply properly up to that extent. I have no word to express my gratitude to all my participants. This is our 54th webinar under this series, and we are very delighted to have such a gathering and such a feedback we are getting from them. We really there. So in the last webinar, what way forward we have also suggested under the SME sector. I think up to that extent, I'm very happy to announce here that whatever we felt it, either we are talking about the extension of the period or giving us a WCTL or giving a funded interest or one-time restructure, I think such things have been accepted by the government, by the RBI. I'm thankful to the panelists for such a view and also participant again. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you to all of
Thank you, sir. Thank
you.
you. Thank you.